Just like I do. Just like Sid does. We all wanted to give you a home where you could be free. And you got one, didn't you? This place, Eastpool. This is your village. Your home. And if you don't fight to protect what's yours, you'll lose it. You know I'm right. This world wants to take everything from you. Everything. Your homes, your freedom, your very lives. So then, are you going to stand by and let that happen to you? Are you going to accept fate like good little Bran did and die, having never stood up for yourselves? Or will you fight like free men and women?
What are you doing?
All right. Give me a sword. I never dreamt I'd have a home of my own. And now that I have, I don't want to lose it. I will protect what's mine, or die trying.
We all will. Free men and women, fighting together. For Eastpool! For Eastpool!
Let's go.
Thank you, Martha.
Don't mention it. Just promise me one thing. That you'll show them how freeborn fight.
Gladly.
Well, if it was numbers you were lacking, you certainly won't be now.
Thanks to you.
Me? Oh, I just love the sound of my own voice.
Lord Rossfield, my lady, we're ready.
So what's the plan of action?
We'll divide our forces into several small detachments, each made up of guardians, bearers, and guards from the rest. These will position themselves at strategic points around the village. Upon engaging with the Akashic, each detachment will keep the creatures occupied as best they can, steadily retreating all the while.
You're going to lure them into the village?
I am. We will have neither the time nor the resources to treat the wounded, so injuries must be avoided at all costs. Instead, we will focus purely on defense at first. By coordinating our withdrawal through the use of messengers drawn from among the bearers, we will aim to have the swarm converge at a point of our choosing. With luck, that point will be the village square, the perfect place for our most able warriors to surround them and fall upon them, and for you and I to finish them off.
A sound plan, but one that'll require a leader with a cool head and strong nerves to coordinate the retreat. I'd say you have both in abundance, await, but you'll be needed. Please, leave the last of the fighting to me.
Ha! And let you have all the glory?
Sir Wade! They're here!
Then you know what you must do. We work together, everyone playing their part, each shielding the other that no man might fall, that Eastpool might live on. For Rosaria!
For Rosaria!
We've no time to argue, my lord. I'll do as you ask.
And I will do as you ask.
Suppose we'd better do our bit too then, eh?
Right you are, Martha.
The calm before the storm. And here it comes. I will not village fall. Looks like that's the last of them.
Lord Rushfield! Change of plan!
What is it?
Owl from the rest. An Akashic curl's been sighted on Rhiannon's ride and is headed...
Well, the better half of her guard. So wait, how many Akash?
Hard to say. My men are still... I could order a
No. You stay here too, so wait. I'll go after the... Join me only when...
If you're sure. May the founder...
Next one's mine. I might not know what.
I needed that. Good girl.
Yeah!
There it is. With me, Torgal. All right. Back to Eastpool.
Lord Rossfield, the Curl, is it?
It's dead.
Thank the Founder for that. And for you, my lord. We were able to eradicate the rest of the Horde. I have guardians posted around the village to keep watch for further attacks, but all seems quiet for now. I hesitate to say it, but I think it might be over.
I think it might.
We saved Eastpool. Thank you, my...
No, Sir, you brought us together.
We never had nothing to call our, but now we do.
Forgive us, Sir Wade, but there's no doubt we're free men now. We have to fight.
And we shall. This is our home.
They'll have us.
Come on, then.
This village isn't...
They're not slaves anymore.
No. They're Rosarians. Your father took pity on the bearer's plight, and I believe if he were still with us today, this is what he would have wanted.
I believe you might be right.
I shall remain here, my lord, and do what I can to help rebuild the village. After all, this is my home now too, and I could hardly call myself an Eastpoolian if I didn't pull my weight.
I think you'll find it's East Pudlian, Sir Wade. But you should be proud. I'll have to pull my weight too. Speaking of which, I ought...
Can we continue?
Of course. Us Rosarian.
Indeed we...
And Clive, come by. I ain't paid you for delivering...
All right.
Lord Rossfield, do you remember our very first mission together? Clearing the goblins from the Stillwind marshes?
How could I forget?
There's one sight that I shall never forget. You, facing off against that giant Morble. Not a trace of fear on your face. Since that day, there have been more than a few times when I felt like giving up. When the odds seemed so stacked in the enemy's favor, I thought I may as well just lay down my sword and surrender. But every time, I would think back to the look in your eyes that day and remember what it means to be a shield. Know that whatever trials Eastpool may face, I shall never lose courage. Thanks to you.
So Wade, you have always been a true shield. I know that Eastpool, and indeed all of Rosaria, will be safe in your hands.
Thank you, my lord. I know the rest of the world...
I'll build a barricade so sturdy, even a bandicoot.
The hero return. It's lucky you... Not only did my seeds...
I just did what I could.
And it's only right that you take it.
Thank you, Martha.
So, Eastpool's finally back on its feet again. And a home to free bearers. Who'd have thought we'd see the day, eh?
Well, it was your idea.
I know that, but I never stopped to think what it would mean. Bearers in charge of themselves, thinking for themselves, working for themselves. Like your hideaway, but not even hidden away. Though I suppose the rest ain't much different nowadays. You know, bearers living free like that reminds me of when I first met Sid. Loath as I am to recall that particular day.
I take it you didn't always see eye to eye. What happened?
Well, if you really want to know, I started doing what I do long before I met Sid. In fact, that's how I met him. Or at least how he came to meet me. He showed up at the stables one day, asking questions about who'd been buying up bearers. Founder knows what he thought I was doing with them. Running a hunt, poking around in their innards. Something awful, anyway. Me, I thought he was a new constable. Thought the game was up. But somehow we both managed to work out what each other was about. And before I knew it, the cheeky arse was rattling on at me about how I was doing it all wrong. After all my hard work. Told me I was giving them relief, but not freedom. That my bearers were still dying as slaves. Got right under my skin, it did. Told him if he didn't like it, he could bugger off and report me to the garrison. And do you know what he did? He smiled. And then he laughed. And then I did the same. We made a pact that day, that whenever one of us was in need, the other would always be there for him.
And you were?
Well, we both wanted the same thing. To make life better for bearers. Just like your dad. Do you know I was born right around the time Elwyn became Archduke? Growing up, I saw how he tried to change things. He certainly didn't lack for ambition, that one.
Indeed. But the loftier one's ambitions, the harder they are to achieve. Which is why those of us who follow in their footsteps need to finish what people like Sid and my father started.
Suppose you're right, aye. And if we don't manage it, there's always them who come after us. Good thing we've got a few half-decent sorts waiting in the wings, eh? It's almost enough to give you a little bit of hope.
Just a little.
Anyway, enough nattering. Better get back to work. Let's see about making everyone some dinner, shall we? The least the folks who saved Eastpool deserve is a hot meal. And you and me ain't gonna save the world on an empty stomach neither.
That sounds like a wonderful idea.
Nothing like a little unrest.
There were ghosts at the gates, not days.
You needn't fret. Creatures again.
Halt! Oh, sorry about that. You're the dame's man, aren't you? You got some business with the captain?
No, actually. With the Duke. I was hoping I might be able to speak with him.
We're under orders not to let any civilians pass. But you should be all right. His Eminence has heard all about you and your heroics. Wait here. I'll go and ask.
So, you are the sellsword who lent his aid to the garrison. The Empire owes you a debt, and I shall see it repaid. But tell me, is it wealth that you seek, or favor?
Neither, Your Eminence. I thought only to inquire about your plan to turn Northreach into a stronghold.
Ah, I see. You are worried the expanded garrison will render your services redundant. Yet you needn't be. A proud fighting man like yourself shall always have a place here. Pride of place, in fact. For too long has the contribution of the noble soldier been under-reckoned. But no more. For it is they who shall see the Holy Empire rebuilt, beginning right here in Northreach.
Why here, Your Eminence?
The town has been fortunate enough to escape largely unscathed from the recent troubles. Her defenses are sound, and her garrison well prepared. Which is more than can be said for Oriflamme or Twinside. The Empire wants for a capital, and I believe Northreach to be the perfect place. With Caer Norvent as her citadel. Once we have seen to the refortification of both the town and the castle, we need only build a wall around both to create a city that would be the envy of the twins. Plans are already underway for the construction. Soon enough, these thralls shall learn that they are no match for the might of Sanbreque.
I fear you underestimate how dangerous these creatures are, Your Eminence. Should they return in force, you will need all the people of Northreach to come together in defense of the town. Something they may be loath to do if they've been deprived of their worldly goods.
The people will do as their leaders command. If Sanbreque is to be rebuilt, she will require a functioning government. One whose authority is beyond question. That is why this levy is necessary, so that any man who wishes to join the army might do so and be fed, outfitted, and paid as befits a defender of the Empire. And yet there are those who persist in peddling the treasonous lie that I seek to steal from the people and drive them from their homes.
I suspect they're afraid of losing what little they have left.
Precisely. The common folk have little and less, and you mean to deprive them of even that. You would sow the seeds of your new empire in your own salted earth.
Sabine, we have discussed this.
Yes, and I told you then how putting the empire before her citizens would lead only to revolt.
Without an empire, there are no citizens.
And in yours, there will be only beggars. Is that what Griga wills for her people?
Do not take her name in vain, Sabine.
I'll come back later. A citizen's revolt. I wonder what the people really think of the Duke's plan. It wouldn't hurt to ask them, I suppose. Let's begin with those on the other side of the wall.
Sabine, you are embarrassing me.
But there were ghosts at the gates not days ago.
Do you see anything you like? An excellent choice. Come back again.
I've been hearing a lot.
Nothing going around acting like he owns the place. And with hardly a word.
I take it you'd rather she was in charge.
As far as I'm concerned, she still is. Just need His Eminence to sod off back to Oriflamme.
Why, your stall is as ripe as a midden heap.
It's my damn bearer. He's gone and lost the touch.
A question. What do you think of the Duke of Oriflamme?
Don't you build a life for yourself somewhere, only for some noble to turn up and tell you you've got to hand it all over to him? If he thinks his name and his chains give him the right to empty our purses, he's in for a rude awakening. We'll do whatever it takes to keep what's ours. Whatever it takes.
I heard the dame got an icon to rid of.
All right there. What is it you're after, sir?
Just your opinion, actually. I wondered what you thought of the Duke of Oriflamme.
Oh, not much. It's thanks to nobles like him that we had to set up shop this side of the wall in the first place. Couldn't have the rabble getting any closer to the holy capital, could they? And now he's trying to drive us out completely, threatening to take everything we got from us if we don't clear off. If the dame said she wanted him run out of town, I'd be straight through that checkpoint, tar bucket in hand.
Well, the people seem united enough. What about the soldiers?
You needn't fret. The creatures are...
You. You're the one who was talking to His Eminence.
On the dame's behalf, yes. I was trying to persuade him not to take the people's good. What do you think of it?
I'm a soldier, mate. He tells me, listen, I've got nothing but respect for the dame. That's where my loyalties lie, not with the town or the Em. If the Duke can get us the men and the equipment we need...
I left everything.
As long as you remain, the veil will...
I hear the Duke of Oriflamme plans to turn this town. Do you think that's a...
It's not. All I know is that unless the Look. Once Sanbreque is back on Earth...
Excuse me, do you have a moment? I wondered if you'd mind sharing your thoughts.
Well, I mean, look around us. The traders might not like having the screws put on them. I think the Duke's got a point when he says rebuilding the Empire's the best way of making sure we're all protected. And if that means people who don't know one end of a sword from another have to make way for those who do, well, that's just how...
Let's see what Philippe makes of all this. Captain.
For you? Certainly. Thank you for last time. How can I help you?
I wanted to ask you about you intend to go...
But to tell you the truth, it's my sworn duty as a captain of the Imperial Army to obey his orders.
Philippe, I remember you saying that you became a...
That's right.
Well, she doesn't agree with it.
Thank you, Clive. Protecting the people I love. Well, thanks again.
It seems Philippe wants to do the right thing, at least. I expect Isabel will be pleased to hear that, if nothing else.
Ah, Clive. Were you able to speak?
I was.
So Northreach is to be a fortress after all. Well, it will certainly help to hold back the thralls. There's no denying that. Though I doubt it will come as much consolation to the townspeople whose worldly goods are confiscated to pay for it. They deserve to be heard, Clive. To have a say in this new empire the Duke means to build.
Sadly, His Eminence values their obedience more than their opinions, and hopes to reassert the authority of the state. I fear he sees the people as mere pawns on his... chessboard to be sacrificed for the greater good. Needless to say, they themselves are of a different opinion, and would rather their destinies were in your hands. The soldiers, meanwhile, are content to follow their orders. And not just because of the Duke's rank, but because of his vision.
I thought as much. Had I sworn to protect Sanbreque, I dare say I too would want nothing more than to see it rise from the ashes. Thank you for trying. But the battle is lost.
I don't know about that.
What happened to your uniform?
I handed it in, along with my resignation. Told the lads I wished them well, but that I owe it to those I love to call it a day.
But why?
Because I realize what really matters to me. Not following some nobleman's orders for the sake of it, but protecting what I care about. Protecting Northreach. I honestly don't know when those monsters will return, but I'm certain they're not finished with us yet. And when they do come back, we need to be ready for them. We need to stand together, all of us. And with you to lead us, milady, I reckon we can do it. It was you who finally convinced me, Clive. There's no point following orders if they go against everything you believe.
Indeed.
All of us, standing together. That has always been Northreach's best hope. We have only to turn our attentions to the... Thank you, Philippe.
Anything. Speaking of standing together, would you mind if I borrowed a few? I fear his...
Not at all.
Wouldn't be the first time.
There may be hope for Northreach yet. especially with men like you and Philippe to champion our cause. I, for my part, shall continue to work upon the Duke, in the stubborn belief that I might still tempt him into joining hands. But I suspect I shall have to call upon your aid again. Until then, Clive.
Until then...
Come back.
The stew's awfully thin these days.
Hopefully it's nothing. What could be wrong with Torgor? Blackthorn.
Not really.
This won't take. I just wanted to ask how you're getting on, and you might still be doubting your craft. Even after learning the truth. Perhaps sharing your thoughts?
That bastard's like a dog with a bone. Still, you got a king. He's just, well...
And that was?
A sword. The metal itself wasn't anything to write home about, but fuck me. The edge on it. You could slice a man clean in two with a weapon like that, and he'd be halfway home before he even realised he'd been cut.
So that's what's true.
No. Not troubling.
And if you knew how we could arm the curse breakers with even better...
That's about...
I'll see what I can... Sharper swords or all, and we can't have our master.
You're a soft tap, but I can't say I'm not grateful.
Thank you. Let's see what Karen knows about...
Oh, don't tell me we've run out of papio nuts and all.
I got your note. You think something's wrong?
So you can read. But I didn't say I were wrong with him. I said something weren't right. He used to love cracking the bones from Molly's boil. Didn't like him. Which is why I'm of a mind that his mind's on something. You've not been working him too hard, have you?
No harder than usual. Is that it, boy? Do you need a rest?
What was it you said he was?
That's what the lawsman seems...
Then maybe this all has something to do.
I suppose things happen. Perhaps Hippocrates knows.
Instead of everything.
You're looking well, Cap.
What do you want?
I want to know about the sword you showed Blackthorn.
Running around up.
I suppose I am, yes.
Little wonder, I suppose. There's not many like that make it as far as the twins, and those that do go, which made it nice.
Can you tell me who bought it?
You think I'd help? Suppose you're not likely to go nicking him off. Fine. Lord Ignac's the man you want. Delmeckian bloke. And he's got more money than sense, which is... reckon he'll still be at the inn in...
Thank you, Cap.
Oh.
I appreciate... People take notice of wealthy men. Shouldn't be too hard to track down Karen's collector.
My reputation will be ruined! Ruined!
Calm yourself, Lord Ignac, I beg of you, before you do yourself a mischief.
Pardon the intrusion, but...
Out! Get out! I paid for these rooms so I wouldn't be disturbed. Leave me be!
Please, allow me to apologize. His lordship is going through a difficult time, and he's never been fond of guests arriving unannounced.
Radim! Get rid of the filthy oaf this instant!
Very good, Lord Ignac. Would you mind stepping outside for a moment?
I'm sorry if I've caused you any trouble.
That? Oh, no. That's just how his lordship is. Though the morning's events have left him somewhat fractious. He has been dispossessed of his luggage, you see. The thieves also made away with a considerable amount of coin. Coin the innkeeper will soon be keen to collect.
I don't suppose a certain blade was among the stolen items. A single-edged sword. It was purchased from a merchant friend of mine.
Ah, you know Lady Karen. Yes, I'm afraid it was.
Then I'll retrieve Lord Ignac's luggage. But I have one condition.
You have but to state it. You are welcome to anything that is within my power to grant.
I want an audience with Lord Ignac. A few minutes should be enough. Then I'll be on my way.
A condition I would be a fool to refuse. Of course, you shall have your audience.
I don't suppose you saw where the thieves went?
I did not, no. Though some discreet inquiries made on his lordship's behalf mean that I know where you might find them. The bandit's bed. Every ill-gotten coin in Dalamel is said to pass through that disreputable corner of the Valcroy.
And that's where I'm heading.
I shall speak to Lord Ignac in your absence, and arrange for an audience upon your triumphant return.
That will be very kind of you.
Farewell, and best of luck.
We've got company! Come on, lads, let's tear the bastard's head off!
Nice try. This must be Ignac's luggage. Nothing seems... all right.
I hear I have you to thank for the return of my effects. What shall I call you, my good man?
Wyvern. Glad to make your acquaintance.
A formidable name indeed. Well, Wyvern, I appear to be in your debt. Redeem here tells me you wished for an audience.
A few moments of your time.
You're a peculiar fellow, Wyvern.
Master Wyvern was wondering if you could tell him about a certain single-edged sword you recently acquired.
Oh, Karen drove me hard on the price, but I would have sold her Radim here to get my hands on that sword. It was made in the Outer Isles, and is used exclusively. They believe no combat should ever exceed a single strike, and each sword is made for that one perfect stroke. There's a brutal...
But how do they hone such...
Why, they use whetstones, rather. A whole array of them, ranging from the coarse, but it is the final stone. A mineral, quite, and that. Wyvern, it occurs to me that my little lecture is hardly equal to services rendered. Take this, together with my regards. The very stone of which I spoke, far rarer among collectors than even the blade itself, and a far more fitting payment.
Thank you.
Pardon the intrusion, my lordship. However, it is long past time we prepared ourselves to depart.
So it is. I am locked in bitter competition with a rival collector of curiosities. I am one step ahead of the unscrupulous scoundrel, but he is hard at my heels.
And there are many other collectors out there.
Too many to count, but only one do I consider my nemesis. Lord Byron Rosfield, and is a perennial thorn in my side.
I can imagine.
Farewell, Wyvern, may our paths cross again. Radim, we mustn't dawdle.
I think his lordship is rather taken with you, Master Wyvern. Thank you again for your assistance. Coming, my lordship. I'll be right there.
Trust Uncle Byron to find such an interesting rival. Now, let's see what Blackthorn makes of this whetstone, shall we?
Can you believe? Come back.
Oh, don't tell me we've run out of papio nuts and all.
Sorry for that. Hopefully you learn. I did bet. Yes.
No wonder I couldn't get the same finish on one hit. Might not be so bad if all you ever fought with you. Good luck on the battlefield. Your second opponent would be your last, no matter.
Even so, is there?
I think so, yeah. With this whetstone and the right kind of steel, I could probably even make a twin of the blade that rattled me. But there'd be no replacing this little rock once I worn it down to a sliver. I reckon we get a dozen swords that the curse breakers wouldn't. Nah, no point trying to copy that thing. But finishing our blades with a whetstone this fine, and what's finer than fallen? Just imagine it. Good valor. I won't make a copy now.
I'm sure the curse just...
I've been working day and night since I was half your age, and I'll still be here when you're long gone. Hey, I owe you one. August 2.
You'll be happy to...
And I'll see that my debt to you, Spade. First new blood. You come and find me when you've got...
Right.
Something for you, dear. And?
All right, Clive. Blackthorn told me you helped him out again. Speaking of which...
Worried about him.
Afraid so. It's a bit of a funny one, this, but I saved this posh novel up. So, obviously, I show it to Blackthorn. Try as I might, I can't for the life of me work out what... And... see...
I'd speak... Well...
Cheers.
I'll be sure to pay him...
All right. I'll meet you by the forge then.
Covered in nicks and lumps, the lot of them.
He isn't ill, is he?
I don't think so. But she says he's hardly been touching his bones of late, and she believes it may have something...
I rather think she might be right. Though all canids are instinctively inclined to crack open bones for the rich marrow that resides within, and I see no reason why a frostwolf should be any different. If we assume that his new... It may well be that the Bones Lady Karen is accustomed to frostwolves, after all, habitually prey upon far larger animals. As to where one might find a suitable substitute, some antelope...
I don't recall ever...
And little wonder. The oldest and largest, the last elder antelope sighting I recall hearing about, took...
Even so.
Good hunting.
Good girl.
safe.
Well, it's certainly quiet. If I were a giant antelope, it would seem like just the place. I doubt we'll find one bigger than that. You hungry, Torgal? Now, will it be enough, I wonder? I say that answers my question, which means we owe the lawsmen our thanks. You're just a big puppy, aren't you? A very big puppy. You do know you can take that with you, Torgal. Lady Karen will be relieved to hear you've got your appetite back. Come on, boy.
Come back.
Oh, don't tell me we've...
I noticed you and Torgal. So, that'll teach me for treating you like... All right, no need to shout. Now we know what you're after, I can see it.
Speaking of which, I brought one for...
You can, aye. I'm nice like that. In return...
I was just a moment.
Ah, Clive, were you able to locate...
We were indeed, Lawsman. You put...
Very good.
Lady Karen sends her thanks, by the way.
Ah. Do you recall our conversation
about
precisely that? A reason the Fenrir of legend, and while the powers attributed to him are certainly impressive...
What do you suggest?
That Torgal may be the beneficiary of more. Consider that in addition to Lady Jill, in short, the icons hitherto near at hand, or should I say at paw, have been diverse and plenty, and that number has only grown, as that one can but speculate.
He has seemed more...
And if I am not mistaken, he will grow fiercer.
Covered in nicks and lumps, the lot of them.
Clive, did you get my letter?
That's why I'm here.
Shh. Oh, don't make me listen. A little. Listen, and it's... maybe... Sadly, that square... I can straighten it out. I swear I'm going to need help.
Be late.
There you are!
So let me get this straight. And instead of coming, you get Clive to come to you, the man in charge of the place you've been cheerfully trying to bankrupt. Well?
Oh, just Martha.
We owe 3 of our most trusted friends 5 million gil.
Each. They lent us the bulk of the money we used to rebuild the hideaway.
Do we have that much to hand?
No. We don't. And no, after the king's ransom we had off him, he deserves better than to see it. Besides, we'll need to look...
All right. Is there anything...
There might be. How'd you fancy taking these to...
Rocks.
Rocks, he says. A little something Sid and I set, and I reckon 15 million in overdue debt probably qualifies.
I'm sure they will.
But you know how it is with this place.
I know.
Go. Do you know why I only gave Master...
Because...
Because I'd rather Lady Karen killed you. Yes.
Well...
Don't worry.
Really?
No.
How do you split the sea, you reckon?
It doesn't still hurt, does it?
Clive!
I wasn't expecting to be here, but it seems we still owe you and though I doubt it's what you were expecting, we were hoping you'd take this as payment.
A star, Ruby? It's worth at least twice what you owe me. More...
Think of the differences.
Interest? If word got out, I charged that much. Anyway, why are you a bit much sending the Lord Marquis out to sell your debts, isn't it?
Something like that.
Same as back when the place was probably knew that without his strong arm, Sid may have been the face of the hideaway. And when Sid passed away, we were all...
His death was hard on everyone.
But he didn't give up, did he? Quite the opposite, in fact. I reckon what he's... And don't we all? Doesn't hurt that you're half as stubborn and twice as handsome, neither. That...
Nothing like a little unrest.
There were ghosts at the gates not days ago.
Those things I said before.
Milady.
Gift? Oh, ma...
Otto asked me to settle the and to...
I thought you might tell Otto he can keep his baubles. The man owes me nothing. My contribution to the restoration effort was made...
You once told me... I'd like to do the same. And for Otto's. For all of...
Otto is... I doubt anything could ever replace his son. But you...
Otto had us.
Long ago. And blamed himself. I don't know how it happened.
I didn't...
How could you? Besides Sid, an ill habit. Given the...
Go will want to know the stones were delivered. If he's still with us.
Covered in nicks and lumps, the lot of them.
Goat. Still alive, I see. So Lady Karen accepted the ruby.
Ah, about that. But she was just too stuck. She threw it right back in my face, in fact.
Karen refused.
I hope it wasn't.
I'm sure you were attacked.
Oh.
Don't tell me we've run out of papio nuts and all.
Lady Karen, Goat tells me you weren't happy with our offer. Would you prefer the debt was repaid in coin?
What debt?
I don't recall lending any of you lot me hard-earned gil. I may have tossed a talent or two in the Hideaway's coffers, but those were donations, and you can hardly call it charity if you go asking for it back.
Of course not. But one good turn deserves another. And our circumstances have changed. Surely you wouldn't shun the gratitude of a pauper who happened to have become a prince.
Oh, so you're a prince now, are you? Fine. But I'm selling it and taking what I'm owed, then you're getting the rest whether you like it or not. Where'd you even get this? A decent trader might nab 1,000 talents for us. A canny one, meanwhile, might claim it were nicked from the belt of Sid the Outlaw. Might be I already have, might be you even know her. But Fang, you wouldn't mind, would...
Not at all.
I hear you ended up thanks to this. I sometimes wonder.
Speaking of which,
Oh! So you remember what's owed to you, then? Get your ass behind that disc of yours and don't get up before those ledgers are square.
Right away.
I've seen that before.
Yeah. It was the only goblet Sid ever used.
I knew so little.
I know.
Martha and the Dame, but how long did you know?
Before he died. Back in the day. I was a purser on it. He bought passage to... Oh, fuck it. We set up drinking Island rum till the morning bell. Drac quit my post not long after that. On account of making a fine maiden's belly fat. But me and Sid stayed close. There was... But the magic woke inside my son soon after his first name day. And there was no hiding his knack.
Couldn't you and your family...
My family were the ones who summoned the constable. Wanted the monster. I couldn't turn my back on him, and I couldn't for the life of me understand how they could. Luckily, it was him who stood beside me when... Or him who cried for me. Him. And he was true to his word, too. Let throw away everything he had. I knew then. He was always too clever for his own good, was Sid. Saw the world for what it really was, while the rest of us were content to go along with the lie we were shown. And it can't have been easy, bearing that burden alone. But he didn't let it stop him. He never lost faith in what he believed was right. And that gave us faith in him. Faith he'd steer us true. So I swore to myself that I'd always be right behind him, ready to catch the stubborn sod, if ever he should fall. But I couldn't even do that. Ignore me. Just the ramblings of a tired old man. Leave that lot. I'll tidy it up in a bit.
This is Sid's handwriting. Dear Otto.
I may be drunk, but I wanted you to know this place would be fucked without you. Love you, you grumpy old sod.
This note.
What about it?
Sid was right. Without you, we'd all be lost.
He should have bloody well said so then. Just once. Before he went. But then, why would he? Him, or anyone? I'd only have told him to piss off. You're wrong, though. Both of you. It was never just me keeping the hideaway afloat. It was all of us. I just shoved people in the right direction. I barely seem to be able to do that anymore.
Would you rather go we're at the helm?
Well, maybe I've got a few more years left in me.
I'm going to hold you to that, Otto.
Before you go, Sid would have wanted you to have this.
But that's...
This'll do me just fine. Thanks for the ray of sunshine. I'll see if I can't pay you back.
Already have.
Covered in nicks and lumps, the lot of them.
Come back.
Oh, don't tell me we've run out of Papio nuts and all.
Bloody hell, Clive. Not this again. Oh, ain't you got better things to...
That remains. August tells me that the sight of it clearly upset.
Come on, mate. Bottling it up ain't... If it weren't the ring...
It brought back some unhappy...
Memories of what?
There are things we'd all rather leave behind, Black.
And sometimes it doesn't.
Don't be like that.
Fine. If it'll get you off... That ring you flashed was... We apprenticed together.
You've never mentioned him before.
Why would I? Ain't seen him in... The ring brought it all back. Bastard's improved, though.
So it was a nice ring.
It matters, because engraving metal's a nightmare, and I've got no bloody idea how he managed it. The fact is...
So what? You're an
I'm the hideaway's... I'm not stealing a living at some backwater village forge. My armour keeps you lot safe, and as far as I'm concerned, every swing of my hammer's another blow struck in the name of our cause. So I put my heart in... Because the curse breakers deserve... And I refuse to be shown up...
Very well. Why don't we go and pay him a visit?
I doubt it.
Then just this once, swallow your pride. Keeping the curse, provided you can do that, you'll hear no complaints from me.
What'd you say, Blackthorn? It's not like you'll be going...
All right.
Magic. So, where'd you...
In Dravost, my old village.
Dravost, eh? Just north of the fields of Carava. Got that, Clive? Meet us at... And I'll make sure Black...
Good luck with that. Let's go. Run like the wind. Kicked out already?
No. This charmer ain't letting anyone through.
Why are the gates closed?
Chief's orders. No one's allowed in without his say-so. Not that I'd have let you in anyway. You look like trouble. I suggest you go home.
That's what I'm trying to do, you little prick. Ain't changed a bit, have you, Snotty?
No. It isn't. Blackthorn.
Long time no see, eh?
What the hell are you doing here?
Well, it was meant to be a surprise, but since you are so nicely, I'm here to see Zoltan, you fucking numbskull. Now let us through.
All right. Just don't go starting anything with the chief.
Yeah, I promise I won't throw the first punch. That good enough for you?
Go on then.
Much obliged.
So this is Dravoged. Not much going on, is there?
It's a smithing town. When I was a lad, you'd have to shout to be heard over the sound of hammer on anvil. Clive, you're good with people. You speak to Zoltan.
Hey, you ain't backing out now, are you?
There's a river of bad blood between me and the chief. But if someone can build me a bridge, then I'll cross it.
All right. I'll see what I can do.
I appreciate it. It'll be near the forge on the hill. It was our master's. He'd have inherited it when I left.
The forge on the hill?
Good luck. You'll be needing it.
But if we can't find a forge it, how are we going to earn our keep?
Mama,
butter, damn it! Those miserable flames wouldn't melt butter, let alone iron.
Pardon the intrusion. I'm looking for the chief.
That'd be me.
It's a pleasure to meet you.
I'll bet it is. Keep the gates closed, I tell him. Well done, Snotty. You're not welcome here. Get out. Before things turn nasty.
Blackthorn's here.
What did you say?
He's traveled a long way to see you.
Yes, has he?
He's waiting. Down by the gates.
Then I suggest you take him with you when you leave.
Didn't you apprentice together?
So what if we did?
Fuck! We're getting nowhere. These bearers' flames are next to bloody useless.
We're never going to be able to fire up the forges unless we can find some new crystals.
I'm a busy man, as you can see, so do me a favor and piss off. Oh, and if you're struggling to find your way out, ask Blackthorn. That prick knows exactly where the exit is. He's not wanted here. And neither are you.
All right. I'm going.
Please, Chief, you've got to do something. If this keeps up...
Let me guess.
As a personal...
Well...
There'll be no talking him round.
Which is what exactly? If we're to help, what turned the village...
I left. Dravozd. So there are two kinds of my kind, who are in it for the love of, who labour on a single piece, and the other kind, are people like Zoltan, who's the kind of smiths who shit out a few hundred blades, reap the profit, and divvy it out among themselves. There wasn't a single day we weren't each other bit by bit. You would have torn Dravozd in half had it gone on. So, I left.
You didn't have to do that.
Zoltan's a bad chief. His way of doing things kept food on people's tables. Dravozd prospered until the crystals run out at any rate.
It depends on how you look at it. There's got to be other ways of making fire.
Thanks to Sid's ingenuity, he saw all of this coming. New crystals were the problem, not the solution.
You know what I mean, though, right? What I'm trying to say is that it's not...
It doesn't matter whose fault it is. I don't want to be the great... Clive, Dravozd won't last long without his furnace, so... Do you think it's the way I see it?
Hold on, Blackthorn. Sid made those things for us. And you'd be throwing...
All right. This place was your home. Sid's creations were never meant to be hoarded. It was only ever a matter of time before we shared them. Let this be another step on the road to freeing Valisthea from the prison of the Crystal's blessing. Dravozd will show the world that it's possible. Wouldn't you agree, August?
When you put it that way, of course. It's like hearing Sid speak from beyond the grave.
Thank you, Clive.
Shall I go and fetch the plans, then?
I know I'm off by heart. I'll be needing some help, though. Building a furnace isn't exactly a one-man job. Do us a favour and round up anyone strong enough to lug a brick or two, would you, August?
All right, then.
And I've got a job for you too, Clive. Finding me some salamander skin. I need leather for the bellows and nothing else will withstand the heat. Luckily for us, salamanders feed out in the fields of Carava.
Time for a spot of hunting, men.